For you, but tip time approaches in two other regions. Oklahoma City, Craig Bolerjack and Bob Wenzel getting set to call Southeastern Louisiana and Oklahoma State. Jim Nantz and Billy Packer standing by in Charlotte for Iowa State and Minnesota. Enjoy the games, everyone.
Charlotte, North Carolina, in a building that hosted the 1994 Final Four, won by Arkansas. This is the Syracuse bracket in the afternoon, with first up Minnesota and Iowa State returning to the NCAA tournament, with the winner advancing Sunday to take on the North Carolina Oakland winner. Minnesota in the tournament for the first time since 1999, led by this man, Vincent Grier, who actually hails from right here in Charlotte. And then Wayne Morgan's Cyclones of Iowa State in the tournament for the first time since 2001, coming out of the Big 12 with an 18-11 record. There's Coach Wayne Morgan in his second season. His team rallied after a horrendous start in conference play and had some rather monumental road wins, including at Kansas. The Cyclone lineup, keep an eye on that backcourt with Curtis Stinson and Will Blalock. Very dangerous duo. And then Dan Munson and Minnesota, 9 wins more than a year ago. The last time the Golden Gophers found themselves in the NCAA tournament was '99, and they got knocked out by Gonzaga, coached by Dan Munson. There are the starters for Minnesota, led by Vincent Grier, all Big Ten. Here's what the coaches said about the matchup.
First, we need to not turn it over against their pressure. Obviously, I think we've got to get some fast breaks because we're a running team, and then we have to execute in the half court.
They're a very balanced basketball team on the offensive end, and defense has been something that we've kind of been our identity this season, and this is going to be a tough task for us.
All right, Billy Packer, the first of 4 for us today. On your headline thought on this one.
Well, Iowa State, a team that does not shoot well from the outside, and Minnesota, a team that set records in regard to steals. It's going to be interesting to see defensively which team gets control of this ball game early.
Staple to jump for Iowa State. Hagen for Minnesota.
Good decision by Clark. Recognized that Hagen got the tap and just let it go out of bounds.
Here we go with the Cyclones. Again, this team lost its first 5 conference games this year and then turned around and won 7 straight as they rallied the second half of the season. And a steal forced by Grier. Nifty ball handling and a reach-in foul called on Iowa State. So Vincent Grier jumps right in and makes the theft to get things started.
Number 1 team in the Big Ten in regard to stealing the ball, 275 on the year. A new record for Minnesota. Start right off that way. And here comes the zone, Jim. 1-2-2. Minnesota, let's see if they go inside. Homan, Hagen, interesting matchup there. Even though it's a zone, Homan knows where Hagen is at all times.
And that foul was called on the star for the Cyclones, Stinson, picking up the foul. And here he makes the steal. Up ahead, Blalock with the steal over to Stinson.
Powerful rebound by Homan. Mismatch here. Blalock takes advantage of Hagen.
Blalock with the jumper and the game's first points.
Here we have a 1-2-2 3-quarter court press. And then Iowa State drops back into their zone.
Lawson able to save it all the way across court. Fortunate.
Terrific save, but took a lot of time off the clock. 14 seconds to get the ball in a position to score. A lot of time there. Good job by Iowa State.
Robinson getting it inside, working it back to the corner, and the 3 knocked down by Coleman.
Well, we saw Coleman in the Big Ten tournament. Was 0 for 2 in the ball game we had. Jim, was no factor whatsoever. A good start.
Boston College transfer gets the Golden Gophers on the board. And again, it's Homan. And a foul called underneath. Hold is going to be called on Lawson of Minnesota. Now the Cyclones out of Ames, Iowa, about 3.5-hour drive south of the University of Minnesota, right down I-35. These two separated by just a couple hundred miles.
Lawson with a quick hands on Clark, almost another steal.
Homan way outside, and Grier snags it. Ahead to Robinson. Hagen wants to work it. To the corner to Grier. Grier short, but put back and in by Coleman again. He had nothing really to speak of last week when we saw him against Illinois in the Big Ten semifinals, and here he comes out with the first 5.
Jimmy had no points. He had 2 rebounds and starts out right here 2 for 2. Stinson not ready for this shot. He's got Grier on him. A nice matchup of 2 all-conference type performers.
And nice work by Jared Homan.
Over Hagen with a half hook. That's 3 shots by Homan so far. And they stay in that 1-2-2 full court pressure. Good cross-court skip passing.
Lawson. And a rebound out to Iowa State. Running down the floor with Blalock and tipped away. It'll still be Cyclone ball. How about the hook?
Good half hook, the 3rd shot in this early part of this first half by Homan. Hits that one. He's looking to take shots over Hagen. Homan again.
Tipped up by Homan, but Grier pulls it away. Minnesota, Billy, what an improvement from a year ago. 12 and 18, 10th in the conference a year ago. And they make it all the way back to the NCAAs with a 21-win season. Tough pass, and it got away from Minnesota trying to hit Grier underneath.
We've seen good passing by Minnesota so far, but Jim, this is a situation where if you're going to throw those skip passes, you have got to hit from the outside from 3.
You look at teams in the field, and the greatest increase in the win column belonging to New Mexico. There's Minnesota +9.
And there's Winthrop +11. Got knocked out in a good performance yesterday. Now Minnesota puts a little pressure of their own on with this ability to steal the ball. You've really got to be careful. Robinson right down on the floor against Stinson. Stinson's got an awful powerful body though.
And it's going the other way. Push off called against Iowa State. And it's called on the big man, Homan.
Homan with Hagen on the inside. That's a nice battle. And Jim, even though they're playing a zone defense, they're basically, I'm talking about Iowa State now, those 2 big men are basically face to face. Good job by Robinson down low to the floor.
Double up on Grier, gets it to Coleman. Can he hit again? Not this time. Grier tip. And Hagen comes back with it, and another call against Iowa State.
Jim, although Coleman did not hit that shot, he did something that was very intelligent. He's got his men caught in a double team. He came to the ball and created the passing lane.
Rashon Clark called for that foul. It's the 3rd on the Cyclones here in the first 4 minutes.
Can't see any real flow developing in this game yet. 2 very evenly matched teams. What would you expect with an 8-9?
You got Morgan against Manson, an 8 against 9. In the pivot, you got Homan against Hagen. There's a lot of similarities here. And figures to be tightly matched throughout. Stolen away here by Clark.
Should be a good finish.
Stinson. He didn't go up with the shot. And a timeout on the floor. First 5 for the Gophers to Coleman. They lead at the first break.
I guess I could have spent a lot more money on something like a BMW Z4. But then I'd be stuck with a slower car. That's why I bought a Saturn.
The 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds supercharged Saturn Ion Redline. Now get a 2005 Saturn Ion Redline with 0% APR financing for 5 years. See your retailer for details.
There's a movement for better TV. A movement that in just 1 year found more new customers turning to DirecTV than all other cable and satellite providers combined. It's a movement for top-ranking customer satisfaction and 100% digital quality on every channel. There's a movement. You in?
Cholesterol. It comes buttered, battered, basted, and roasted. But it also comes from Mom, Dad, Grandma Rose, and Grandpa Joe. Your cholesterol doesn't just come from food. It also has a lot to do with family history. Ask your doctor about Vytorin. A healthy diet is important, but when it's not enough, adding Vytorin can help. Vytorin treats the 2 sources of cholesterol, food and what your body makes naturally based on family history. Vytorin lowers bad cholesterol 45 to 60%. Vytorin is not for everyone, including people with liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Unexplained muscle pain or weakness could be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Vytorin may interact with other medicines or certain foods, increasing your risk of getting this serious side effect. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Continue to follow a healthy diet and ask your doctor about adding Vytorin. For the 2 sources of cholesterol, remember the name Vytorin. That's Vytorin.
What is taste loss?
Am I at risk?
I thought the government wiped out taste loss in the 1950s.
If you have questions, we have the answers for you.
How can we fight taste loss?
Protect yourself with a great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. And please, keep asking questions.
Is now a good time to talk about taste loss?
Anytime is a good time to talk about taste loss. Miller, good call.
Jim Nantz and Billy Packer here in Charlotte. How about the Golden Gophers and the way Dan Manson turned this program around?
He really did. They talk about Lawson being named captain, everything settling down. This is a team that did not return much from a standpoint of point or rebound production from last year. They pulled together very nicely as a team. Some guys that have been through a lot of adversity with the NCAA probation, the inability to recruit normally. But you got some solid citizens out there on this club, and that's why they've been successful. Another steal.
It's Grier. Stinson, well, let him go because he already has a foul, and look at Grier throw it down.
Grier, a terrific finisher. We saw him in the Big Ten tournament have a little bit of trouble early in that ball game against Illinois, but then really picked it up in the second half and had a terrific second half.
They only fell by 8 to #1 Illinois in that semifinal last week. And this one's going against Lawson, his second. And listen to Grier.
Well,
put this one away.
Last week against Illinois, young man had 24 points. He had 8 rebounds. He played 39 minutes against that terrific Illinois basketball team. And really, once he settled down, Jim, we remember the bad shots he was taking in the first half. It didn't seem quite aggressive enough, but boy, once he settled down, he played a terrific ball game.
Rico Tucker has to come in, the freshman from San Diego. Lawson sits with the 2 fouls. And that ball pulled down again by Grier, who's a very good defender.
Well, we're finding out right now, Iowa State, as I said, not a good 3-point shooting team. They're packing that zone in.
Robinson could shoot it. 3 short this time.
Ooh, Coleman should have had that rebound. Late getting there.
Stinson pull up. Gets it right back. Stinson. That one drops.
Stinson's got popped right in the face on that play. Very powerful on the inside. Kind of guy that I thought he would finish on that last break. He took a good shot to the nose. No blood.
Look at the shot clock here. Ball's knocked out. They'll get a new 10, but boy, it was already down to 26 seconds.
That's right, Jim. They've taken off about 14 seconds on a number of these possessions. When they score, the press is extremely effective. Robinson's so low to the floor, it's hard to double team him.
Whipping it around here. Grier's open on the baseline.
What a
nice
shot.
Move. Right past 2 Cyclones.
I think Homan was shocked at how Grier blew by him. As you said, a young man from Charlotte, North Carolina, transferred out, went to junior college, and has been outstanding at Minnesota.
Stinson. Hagen got a hand on it. Right back to Stinson. Outside. The shot by Clark. Staple in the right spot. Put back, yes.
Good weak side rebounding. Now, if you know a team's a bad 3-point shooting team, you got to be in better position to rebound than that. Not backcourt, because Robinson didn't have everything over the line.
Tucker challenging inside, and Homan will clear.
Not a bad idea for Tucker there to give the fake, the ball fake.
Stinson again on the drive. Second team all Big 12, Curtis Stinson.
Jim, he is so powerful. Young man from the Bronx, New York.
And yes, taken away by Iowa State. Clark up ahead. And he is challenged and fouled by Dan Coleman.
I'll tell you, Minnesota better keep the ball in Robinson's hands against this full court pressure. He's low to the floor. That time it was Tucker who lost it. Clark goes in. Coleman tries to go up there, but does get a piece of the arm.
No doubt about that foul, so that'll send Clark to the line for 2. He's a freshman from Queens, New York. They've had a lot of success thanks to Coach Wayne Morgan, a longtime assistant back in the late 80s and mid-90s at Syracuse. Jim Boeheim, he still has that pipeline working now, New York to Ames.
Right, he's a Brooklyn man, and without question has great roots back in the New York City area. Matter of fact, throughout the entire East Coast. And Wayne, as an assistant, went to 2 Final Fours with that Syracuse program, so he does have a great background there.
Stamper is in, and Tucker, after that turnover, sits.
No, and I think that was the message from Coach Munson. Robinson, the ball is to be in your hands as much as possible. Now, he doesn't want to start his dribble too early, and definitely doesn't want to pick up the dribble. Oh, he was lucky there.
Coleman now feeling the heat and escapes. Back to Robinson.
One of the things against this pressure, the skip pass will be extremely effective, but guys are going to have to come and meet the ball.
Coleman. Inside Stamper. Nice box out, and does not get the roll off the rim.
Stamper giving up a little bit too much size on the inside. Blalock has been extremely passive in this game. He's got to try to break down his defense a little more.
Homan short on the turnaround, and it's Hagen.
No numbers down here for Robinson.
Grier, jumper. Homan trying to speed things up ahead. Stinson, lob.
Bad idea.
And here come the Golden Gophers. 3-on-2. It's Grier. Had it on his hip. No call. Robinson with the 3.
But we're seeing some bad shooting out here, Jim, and some bad ideas for teams early in this ball game. Play solid. As tightly matched as these two teams are, if you play solid, you can get a working margin.
Tasheed Carr has come in for Iowa State. He'll inbound the ball, and Stinson will get a breather. No, it's not Stinson. Stinson stays on the floor.
Well, you got 3 guards in the game right now.
They sit Staple.
Team gets smaller.
Tough pass inside and knocked out. Still Iowa State ball.
So you've got Clark and Homan, the only 2 guys with any size on the floor for Iowa State.
Minnesota shooting 29%. Cyclones by bucket.
I know you do more brakes and mufflers than anyone, but do you really do shocks and struts too?
Yes.
Factory scheduled maintenance?
Yes.
Oil changes?
Yes.
Tire rotation?
Yes.
Belts and hoses?
Yes.
Headlights?
Yes.
Batteries?
Yes.
Back rubs?
Yes.
The Midas Touch Maintenance Package for just $29.95. We'll change your oil, rotate your tires, and do a courtesy check, including brakes, battery, filters, and more. For mechanics known for their work and their word,
trust the Midas Touch.
Some families are good at entertaining themselves. For the rest of us, there's Radio Shack. Now when you buy this Sprint PCS picture phone by Samsung for just $49.99, get up to 3 Sprint PCS color screen phones by Samsung free with 2-year agreements. Plus, get this replica race hood free by mail. Yes, Radio Shack has everything to make your road trip more fun. Unless you like yodeling. Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
Man, I love the supersonic cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Get that like crispy lettuce.
And sweet onion.
Right. The ripe tomato, you know, pickle. You know, they got the pickle in there. Of course, the burger patties.
Yeah.
Cheese.
Hint of French vanilla.
What?
Touch of Irish cream.
That's not in there.
Well, you took everything left.
Better burgers. Sonic's got them, others don't. Our burgers are better because we make them after you order them, the way you like them, with the freshest ingredients. It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
Tons of Toyota trucks. Every parent worries when their daughter goes on spring break.
Those guys, they're sharks.
You want to be in a video? But this year, it's not the boys they have to worry about.
Do not get on that boat.
Watch me. Oh, my God.
This is all wrong. Brian Brown and Kathy Baker in Spring Break Shark Attack. CBS Sunday.
Along along with Seth and Clark. Greg Gumbel in New York. We'll get you back to Iowa State and Minnesota in a moment. Let's check in first in Nashville, where Ohio and Florida are doing battle. And Florida with a 4-point lead and failing to stretch it there. But this should be a pretty interesting matchup.
It will be, because Ohio as a team averages 25 free throw attempts per game. So they play smash mouth basketball, try to get it in the paint, control the pace of the game. And if they're able to do that, that can negate some of the advantage that Florida would have in transition.
Florida's been pretty crisp offensively early, 4 of 8 from three-point range.
Shot, so they're very much within contact.
All right, guys, in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma State off to the comfortable 10-point lead and continuing to run.
Well, they're really trying to crack the back of southeastern Louisiana, and they're doing it with their defensive pressure, speeding the pace up, forcing turnovers, and then attacking in the paint in the half court.
All right, guys, we'll keep track of those games for you. Let's get you back to Charlotte for Iowa State and Minnesota. Once again, Jim Nantz and Billy Packer.
We had an 8-0 run by Iowa State, capped by Tasheed Carr banking home a three-pointer. And then right back, Lawson with an inside putback for Minnesota. 16-11 Cyclones.
I really like what the two coaches have done right now. Morgan goes and says, no, I'm going to take Homan out of the ball game if you're going to take Hagen out of the ball game, because I think these coaches realize they've got to have their big man in the ball game. Now, Tollefson probably a better sub for Minnesota than what Iowa State can do, putting in another big man.
And taken away, another steal by the Cyclones, Stinson.
Blalock has got to get aggressive.
Carr just hit one, and that one's wide of the mark. Stamper with the rebound.
So Minnesota going to the bench. Nice cut.
Hold called against Iowa State, and CBS Sportsline keeps you on top of all of the men's NCAA tournament action. You can get real-time bracket updates and expert picks for each and every first-round game. It's all at cbssportsline.com. This is Tollefson, decorated high school kid out of Chaska, Minnesota, but Iowa State now takes it quickly to the other end, and Stinson finishes it off.
Good quickness and a great execution on that 3-on-1 break.
So the largest lead of this game, 7. Cyclones in front, 18-11 midway, first half.
No matter what the sport, anytime athletes sweat.
Why do we work? Why do we get up every day and go to work? Because we make things, fix things, send our kids off to learn things. At the Principal Financial Group, we know you don't just work to retire, you work to live. That's why we give people the financial tools to help them keep more of the money they make and do more with the money they save. You work hard, we make work hard for you. The Principal Financial Group. We understand what you're working for.
Take the dollar. What's going on, man? It won't take my dollar. Wow, that looks good.
Oh, yeah, it's new from KFC. Real chicken breast. Only $1.
You got that for $1?
Yeah. Took your $1.
Oh.
Ready for a tasty bargain? Try the brand new 99-cent snacker from KFC. 100% hand-floured chicken breast, pepper mayo, and crisp lettuce freshly prepared on a sesame seed bun. Now your dollar goes further at KFC.
That time of year again.
Big deals for the big dance. The GM NCAA March Madness event. Score big with specially marked deals. The price you see is the price you pay.
Want to get rid of the wires? Get a wireless laptop with technology designed for lightweight. Make sure it has Intel Centrino mobile technology built in.
Perfect execution, a 3-on-1 break and watch everybody else is out of the picture. This is why this Cyclone team using that speed, Jim, breaking off the interception, going directly to a basket. Good job.
So Manson calls the timeout as his teams watched a 12-2 run here put up by the...
Oh, it's a walk and no call.
Thompson up ahead as Robinson was able to squeeze out of it with no call.
You can squeeze out of it if you can walk, Jim. He probably walked twice on the play and got by with it.
Right in front of the Iowa State bench.
Morgan's still looking. Hey, wait a second. There's a thing called a dribble in this game.
Lob underneath. Homan can't hold on to it.
That's about 2 inches away. Now watch this. How many steps are we going to take to get through this? Well, he's still walking. He's still walking and gets by with it. But as I said, Robinson is a kind of guy you want. He's strong and he's low to the ground, but he doesn't want to pick up that dribble so soon.
How effective has this press been?
Oh, very good. And what do you like about a press? Is it a team that can go from their defense and it becomes part of their offense? Not only do they make the steal, then everybody's on the move. It's a very quick team on the floor. Homan back in the game. Hagen still sitting. Left-hander.
Yep. Natural shot.
Yep.
And tipped around. Wild battle for it. Belongs to Iowa State. Coming up, singular at the half. Greg, Clark, and Seth get you caught up on all the tournament news and live looks at all the action going on right now, including Charlotte and NC State. It's all coming up singular at the half.
Pretty tough team to press with Blalock and Stinson back here. Two guys that are extremely powerful. And there again, right through the press goes Blalock.
Blalock sets it up beautifully. Gets the assist to Staple.
I think that if you're Minnesota and you look at this club, you want to play them at a half court at a time. Because in the open court area, Iowa State has a big advantage with quickness.
Grier in the paint. Fouled first.
Wade Morgan wanting to make sure that foul's not on Homan.
It's not. It's on Staple. Homan already has one. It's the first on Staple.
Jim, one of the other things to point out here, 3 of the top 5 minutes played by players in the Big 12. Stinson, Blalock, and Homan are 3 in the top 5, with Stinson being number 1.
Robinson missing again from the outside. Lawson put back, and he'll go to the line. Sunday, it's spring break, Billy, on CBS. Except this year, it's not safe to go in the water. How about this? The premiere of Spring Break Shark Attack. Sunday at 9, 8 Central here on CBS. Damien Staple called for his second, so he gets 2 quick ones, and Lawson will shoot a pair.
Lawson originally went to St. Francis of PA, transferred out. Of course, had to sit out for the year. Was number 2 in Big Ten in steals this year.
In talking yesterday to Coach Manson and the Golden Gopher staff, they said the moment that Lawson was named captain of this team last summer, that began the Minnesota turnaround. The 12-18 team of a year ago to 21-10. Team that ended Indiana's hopes last week. It was a 4-5 matchup in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten. Hoosiers lost and were left out of the NCAAs. It was a milestone win for Coach Manson, his 100th at Minnesota.
Hagen and Homan back banging each other down on the inside. Homan getting nice low position. Pretty good double down that time by Lawson.
It's Carr. Tipped around into the arms of Grier.
Yeah, Grier plays a little bigger than he's listed, doesn't he, Jim?
No question.
He has good instincts for how to go to the ball. He's got long arms, listed at about 6'5", but plays closer to about 6'7".
And he's dropped down to collect 4 rebounds here in the first half.
Hagen in that 7-foot frame passes well over the zone.
Wild shot by Grier. Homan with the board, hold first.
That's Stinson pulling down Hagen.
Well, that's going to be his second, Billy. 2 on Stinson. 2015 Cyclones first half.
The fan sitting here switched his car insurance from Geico to Allstate and saved $318 a year. This one switched from Progressive and saved $476. This one switched from State Farm and saved $214. Just 3 of the 1 million drivers who switched to Allstate. Out to save America some money. That's Allstate, Stan. Are you in good hands?
We pepped up the peppers. Went ahead with 3 cheese. Added zest to Kraft Zesty. We revved up Italian. 3 Italians from Kraft. We revved up the flavor. We revved up Italian. We pepped up the peppers. Added zest to Kraft Zesty. We revved up Italian. It beat the other leading Italian in a taste test. Kraft Zesty Italian tastes better. We revved up the flavor. We revved up Italian.
How long have you two been together?
Teresa counts from the first day that we met, and I count from the first...
Ashton Kutcher.
He's about ready to pop a blood vessel in his head.
Bernie Mac.
You want to force me to use the muscle?
On March 25th.
I'm not going to back down.
Let the battle begin. Guess who?
These eyes, they see everything.
Take it off.
You take it off.
Rated PG-13. Everywhere March 25th.
Oh, I miss it here, don't you?
Oh, it looks so good. Try the scampi.
Magnifique. Oh, we know. We used to be regulars.
Used to?
Frequent heartburn, no matter what.
He's no fun anymore.
Well, Prilosec OTC.
Prilosec OTC?
Look, it's the only OTC that directly shuts down lots of those acid-producing pumps in your stomach.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's why it's the only OTC that can work for 24 hours.
With 1 pill a day.
Hey, we could have fun again.
Bingo.
1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn.
The echo in the gym. The squeak of the shoes. The buzzer. The brick. The whistle. The crowd. Swish. I left the game, but it'll never leave me.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us are going pro in something other than sports.
Welcome back to Charlotte. Jim Nantz, Billy Packer, and Billy, this Cyclone team had lost 28 straight conference games on the road, and boy, did they catch magic all of a sudden.
They really did, Jim. And this is a club, we talk about winning at Texas, a huge win, and then, of course, the win that kind of shocked the nation, winning in overtime at Kansas, where they played just a great basketball game. The other thing that's interesting, they won 5 games over ranked teams this year. Wake Forest and Illinois won 6. When you start thinking they beat Virginia when Virginia was hot at 19. They beat Kansas when they were number 2. Oklahoma when they were 13. Texas when they were 20. And Texas Tech when they were 25. Those are solid wins.
Hagen missing the front end of a 1-and-1, but Robinson gets it right back for him.
Homan underestimated Robinson's quickness.
Be another 1-and-1, a reach-in foul going to be called here on Clark. Higher seeds yesterday, won 13 of 16, the biggest upset by seeds, Milwaukee. Knocking out Alabama, really never in danger, Billy.
You know, that one really kind of shocked me, and I'll tell you why. The experience of Alabama in the NCAA tournament last year, as you know, went to the Final 8. A team that returned just about all the parts that made up that club. I thought Alabama was a team that could go very deep this year, and they're home in one day.
So they miss again on the front end of a 1-and-1 with Robinson, and the floater up and in for Carr.
Carr, a big lift off this bench today.
If you want to make any conclusions off of one day of play, it was a sketchy day for the SEC yesterday. It's Grier working his way free for the basket. You had LSU knocked out, Alabama lost, and Kentucky struggled against Eastern Kentucky.
Now we got Florida, the hottest team in that league, up today. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a trend or whether Florida can kind of hold that back.
Florida down a point in the first half right now to Ohio. 6 minutes to go in the first half here.
Are you ending my theory there, Murray?
Well, it's just,
you know,
it's been
I'm not capable of watching that monitor and the game at the same time, so you caught me.
2 seconds to go on the shot clock, and Blalock beats the clock. And the little man gets the rebound.
Robinson, I think, is having an excellent first half in this game. Floor generalship. He's beaten the press. He's the key to the team to have that ball in his hands. He's done a nice job on the defensive end as well, despite the fact being the smallest guy on the court. Hagen, a good skip passer when he looks over the top of that defense. Coleman Homan's been quiet.
Robinson, shot's not falling right. That was tipped up and in.
Hagen.
With Hagen getting the basket, surrounded by Cyclones.
Nice soft touch by Hagen, a walk-on player who's just made himself a basketball player for Minnesota.
Trying to D up at the other end. He'll be whistled for that one, and Homan will shoot a pair.
Now, Jim, you got 5:10 to go in the half. Hagen, Homan, that's a matchup of foul trouble situation. Good steal. Boy, I'll tell you, a lot of quick hands out there on this floor.
This pressure leading to some baskets, some opportunities at the other end, and Hagen now has 2. We've got, as far as the foul situation, Hagen has 2. And then Stinson, the most significant player, with 2 on the Iowa State side, although Clark and Staple also are saddled with a pair.
Hey, Jim, let me point out something to these two teams. They both led their respective conferences, and we know they had good ball clubs in steals. I mentioned about Minnesota. Not only lead the conference, they set an all-time new record for their school with 283 coming in here. And Iowa State not far behind, being #1 in their conference with 275 steals. Don't want to pick up the dribble back there.
Let me clarify something. Hagen does not have any fouls. We got a pair on Lawson. And it'll still be Minnesota ball. Just under 5 to play first half.
.455 to go. First time Robinson out of the game. Now this responsibility of ball handling against the press and to initiate something against the zone falls on Rico Tucker. Going to be a couple important minutes here for Minnesota to try to play without Robinson.
Grier and a reach-in call on Iowa State. At the other end, the foul was called on Coleman, his first. And now this time a reach-in call against Iowa State. We're going back to the line here for another 1-and-1. They've missed their last 2 front ends. You look at the road to the national championship, and the worst seed to win a championship, an 8 seed, and this is the 20-year anniversary.
Yep, you've got, look at those 1 seeds.
That was Villanova.
Isn't this interesting, Jim, the way that percentage goes down?
1-and-1, Grier. And miss all 3 front ends.
Grier going to the line, only a 74% free throw shooter, but he's been to the line over 200 times this year. With that slashing abilities, he'll draw some fouls.
Open shot, gotta take it, gotta hit it. Clark does. 3-pointer.
Jim, that's the first time that Blalock has aggressively put the ball on the floor and then got the kick out.
There's some question for a minute there. Was that a 2 or a 3?
Referees are looking now as we speak.
I go over and consult a monitor here. As Clark, I think he was surprised how wide open he was.
It looked like that he is slightly on that line with that right foot of his. Tough call to make.
Referee Carl Hess.
Well, the problem right here on the TV screen is that blue line is the 3-point line. The other line is a washout from the professional league. But I think he was right touching that line. But if they called it a 3, Jim, they've got to have the real evidence that it's not.
Indisputable evidence is what we talk about often in the NFL. And speaking of which, Bill Vinovich, one of the 3 officials here, is an NFL referee. They're going to look at it another time. Got to have something conclusive. They called it on the court a 3.
On the monitor, you see it looks like there are 2 lines there. It is the blue line or the darker line of the 2. I think his right foot is just touching the blue line. I think it should be a 2-point shot.
And they agree with you. Take away a point, knock it down 25-19. 2-point shot by Clark with 4:21 to go in the half.
Well, the people from Ames don't like the call that are sitting behind us. Hey, it's nice to have a guy with the wingspan of Clark on the point of that press. Robinson back in the game helps Minnesota a great deal. Hagen trying to attack the press from behind and underneath it. It's a good pass.
It's Grier.
It's amazing how he can get through that traffic and get a shot off. Just when you think there's no room, he'll split two guys and still get it off.
You'd think he'd be at the line more often. He's always in such traffic. And another call here against Minnesota. That's on Robinson, his first. We've got an under 4-minute break with Iowa State up by 6.
The multifunctional element from Honda. Where will it take you?
Tell me what you saw.
Whose car is this?
Get it. Get out of the truck. I'm not kidding, right? Get in, Manny, or you're gonna die. Get out!
War of the Worlds. Everywhere, June 29th.
I still don't get it. Why do I need AOL on top of my high-speed connection? Let's say that your ham sandwich is a computer on a basic high-speed connection. And let's say that my tuna sandwich is a computer with the protection of AOL. Let's go on the internet. Okay. Uh-oh. Here's a whole bunch of spam. And more spam. Spamity calamity. And then here's some computer viruses. Viruses. Now, which would you rather have? Basic high speed or high speed with AOL? I'll have the tuna. Actually, the tuna's mine. You have some computer virus on your shoe.
Get AOL on broadband for greater peace of mind and much more. Want a better internet? You belong in America Online.
You give me fever.
Applebee's Barbecue Fever. From our sweet baby backs to our new grilled barbecue shrimp.
Fever, till you sizzle. What a lovely way to burn.
Eating good in the neighborhood.
For some, recovery is a long road. For men, they reach for revitalizing lotion Q10. Because Q10 replenishes skin to feel healthy, firm, and fit. Especially when you don't. Nivea for men, more evolved skincare.
Minnesota shooting only 33%. They're down 6. They missed 3 front ends of 1-on-1s. Had they hit all their free throws, the game would be tied.
Jim, what's interesting, these two teams play almost statistically even. And you have the case of Minnesota 68.5 points per game and Iowa State 68.4.
Good passing. Blalock, Stinson, and then eventually over to Homan on the inbounds. And that's the largest lead of this game.
And what we're going to see from Minnesota, they're going to have to figure out ways to attack this press and Gophers scores. Now they've got Hagen down underneath the basket. They've got to break this press quicker and get the ball down into him to try to go ahead and force the press to pull off a little bit. I realize that's not what Wayne Morgan's going to do, but you got to take advantage of it some. Good hands.
There you go, Hagen inside.
Homan gave him a little shot. Wayne Morgan told us yesterday, Hogan would just soon run through you as he would look at you. He gave a pretty good shot there to Hagen.
Clark driving in, pushed first. This could be on Lawson. And it is. That's 3 on Lawson.
Big foul there.
Here you look at the Syracuse Regional. And North Carolina and Oakland next up on this floor in Charlotte.
Then there you see Villanova. You spoke about them before. A team that made a terrific run 20 years ago.
The lowest seed to ever win the championship in 8. It's Clark.
Oh,
spin move underneath off the glass. Little dipsy-do it is. 29-21. And they are swarming on defense. Grier.
This is what I was talking about. If you're going to play against that press, you've got to attack it and make it pay.
Here, Minnesota had an early 3-point lead, but Iowa State has led by as many as 8. And Stinson short on the jumper.
That's what he likes to do, that little medium range shot of his. Because he's so strong, it's hard to defend him there. I think that Iowa State has come up with a good idea of how to play against this man-to-man, and that is get on the wings and get some penetration off the dribble by Blalock and Stinson.
Robinson missing that 3. He's 0 for 5, Billy, from the field, including all 3 misses and attempts from beyond the arc. He's usually a pretty big threat from out there. This is Homan, has 7 points, 6 rebounds, setting up Clark. Beautiful move for a basket.
But Jim, talking about Robinson in the Big Ten tournament, he was 4 for 9 from 3 and 4 for 8 from 3 in the 2 games that they played. And obviously that would be a very important factor here against this zone.
2 shots for Stinson. The first foul charged to Grier. And Curtis Stinson. And he hits 2. Stinson has the lead back up to 8, matching the largest margin in this half for Iowa State.
Stinson's biggest game, 30 against Virginia this year, but he had that incredible game against Kansas where he hit for 29. Took 23 shots in that ball game.
Working it down to the big man. 15 on the shot clock. Tucker loses it on the drive and knocked out by Iowa State. 12 on the shot clock.
Boy, good quick hands by Clark on that play. Got 12, plenty of time. Out, back into Hagen, and still out cross court is possible right here. Out. Wow.
That bounced off Robinson. Fortunate to get it back. 5 on the shot clock. Tucker realizes that. And that pass gets away. Iowa State just, again, all over him defensively.
I tell you, Minnesota having problems when Robinson isn't initiating the offense.
Quickly up ahead. Blalock to Stinson for 2. And the first double-digit lead of the half.
Stinson plays well under control.
Grier's pass stolen.
Look at that hit ahead.
At last touch, the back of the Golden Gophers, Robinson. So Iowa State retains.
Pretty good hit ahead by Homan there, Jim. You've got yourself a working margin here of 10 points. Go for the knockout punch. Homan's got a shot. Earlier he would have taken that shot.
Came out, took 3 quick ones at the beginning.
I think Blalock should try to penetrate more on the corners.
Homan's been a presence on offense. This doesn't go.
Had a better shot before from shorter distance than the half hook he took there.
Got a 5-second differential. Minnesota trying to trim that 10-point deficit.
Spreading things out. Be a good time, Jim, for Robinson to take the last shot from 3 to see if he can get off that snide. But you're not going to do it if you're going to work it down here. I think they should run their half-court zone offense, knowing they want to hold it for the last shot.
6 on the shot clock. Stinson defending. Robinson jammed.
Didn't like this theory.
Taken away. Again, swarming Cyclones. Up ahead, Blalock lost it going up.
Blalock down, but he's a strong kid. Jim, I didn't like Minnesota's idea there at all. Robinson and Blalock saying to Stinson, slipped out of my hands, my fault.
Minnesota turned it over its last 3 trips and 1.6 seconds.
Pretty nice throw.
Grier gets the shot. Oh, wow, was that acrobatic?
Nice throw, some catch, some shot.
Caught it and still suspended.
All right, so it's halftime there. Final seconds in Oklahoma City.
And now a whistle stops the clock with 4.3 ticks remaining. Lucas picks up his first.